Hi, guys. Welcome to the recap show. Today's movie recap will cover a 2014 crime drama mystery movie named The Assault. Sit back, grab a drink, and enjoy. The movie begins in a local town's high school. The school is preparing for a football game. The atmosphere is lit, and students, as well as teachers, are preparing for the much anticipated game. Soon afterward, the spectators are sifted to watch and enjoy a beautiful game of football. The cheerleaders line up in front to welcome their beloved football team to the field. Just as the game is about to begin, one of the cheerleaders, Sam Gleason, appears out of nowhere carrying a keg of gasoline with her. She stands in front of the crowd, pours the gasoline on her body, and proceeds to light a match on herself. Seeing this, Sam's ex boyfriend, Reed, immediately jumps on her and puts out the fire. Sam is immediately rushed to a hospital so she can receive medical attention. The next morning, the doctor in charge approaches Sam's father, Dan Gleason, and informs him that the only area affected by the fire is Sam's arm. Dan then faces Reed and thanks him for saving his daughter. Just then, the doctor informs Dan that Sam reported that she was abused. Upon hearing this, Dan rushes to his daughter's room to talk to her, but Sam keeps mute. While Dan is still trying to get Sam to talk, a police detective, Jody Miller, enters and informs Dan that she is there to investigate Sam's report. Jody then brings out her tablet and shows Sam a group picture of the football team. Jody asks Sam to point to who the offender is amongst the team, and Sam points at Reed's friend, Christopher Birch. In the next scene, Christopher and his friends are having fun when Jody arrives with another cop, Vivian, to bring Christopher in for questioning. Also witnessing the event is Sam's estranged friend, Frankie. Shortly afterward, Frankie visits Sam at the hospital. She tries to have a conversation with Sam, but she isn't comfortable seeing Frankie around her. Frankie shows Sam an odd photograph of her, but Sam screams at her and Frankie immediately leaves. Dan then enters and comforts his bereaved daughter. Up next, Dan goes home to check Sam's room for any irregularities. While searching the room, Dan comes across Christopher's football shirt. At the police station, Jody is busy questioning Christopher's intentions towards Sam. Christopher informs Jody that Sam was the one that approached him because she was suffering from heartbreak. After the questioning, Jody is approached by the team's coach, who is also her brother, Tim Miller. Tim voices his displeasure about Jody's approach to the investigation. While the duo is having their discussion, Dan arrives with Christopher's shirt, which he found in Sam's room. He gives the shirt to Jody so it can help in the ongoing investigation. Soon afterward, Sam is discharged from the hospital, and Dan drives her home. Upon getting home, Sam checks her social media page and realizes that all of her friends and followers have begun to desert her. Dan calls Sam over for dinner, but Sam isn't interested. She watches a video recording of herself and her friends. The next day, Jody informs Dan and Sam that Christopher's shirt is not enough to pin him for the offense. Jody asks Sam about everything that happened the night of the party, but Sam only remembers fragments because she was drunk and wasted. Sam then tells Jody that she believed her mother's death would be the worst thing to happen to her, but the recent event just proved otherwise. The next scene shows Reed arriving at Sam's place. He offers to give Sam a ride to school so she can feel some level of comfort. Sam agrees and follows Reed to his car. Inside the car, Sam berates Reed for not trying to protect her when everything happened, but Reed says he already left the party when Sam broke up with him. Moments later, the duo arrives at school, and Sam thanks Reed for being the only one that has shown some level of compassion to her since the trouble began. Sam sees her friends, Izzy and Grace, sitting on the bench and having a nice conversation. She tries to join them, but the duo ignores her and walks away. Moments later, the cheerleader's coach invites Sam for training, and Sam hesitantly agrees. During class, Sam starts getting weird messages from unknown contacts. After class, Sam attends the cheerleaders training, but she doesn't receive a good reception from the rest of the team. Seeing that the whole team is against her, Sam angrily walks away from training. Meanwhile, Tim has seized one of his players, Lee's cell phone. Izzy immediately approaches Lee and says he must find a way to get the cell phone because there are regular pictures and videos on it. Later that day, Sam tells Dan they need to adjust to the new way of things now. She terms it their new normal. The following day, Frankie tells Sam to follow her. She shows Sam the posters people are making about her. Frankie then tells Sam that she had one of the photographs and videos from that night. She says everything has been deleted from the school's blog page, but she saved some. Frankie then shows Sam the photographs, and in turn, Sam shows Jody everything. Jody starts questioning Sam's private life, and Sam comes clean to her. However, Jody says the photographs are not enough evidence to punish Christopher. Jody says she will bring the students involved in for questioning. Afterward, Sam tells Frankie that she needs her help to fight back, and Frankie agrees. Up next, Dan berates Sam for letting herself get drunk to the point at which the boys took advantage of her. Sam says she needed the drinks to forget about the pain she is feeling from her mother's death. Soon afterward, Jody brings in the students for questioning. Tim tries to talk Jody out of it, but she refuses. Jody begins to question the students individually. Elsewhere, Frankie and Sam are also trying to fill in the missing pieces. During the interview, Jody discovers that Christopher and Sam made out in Jordan's car. Jody asks Christopher if Sam was conscious when everything was happening, and Christopher says yes. Back at Sam's place, she and Frankie discover that something happened between 2:17 a.m. and 3 a.m., but she doesn't recall the events. Later that night, Jody arranges a search party to look for the uniform Sam was wearing that night. The following day, Sam sees a young girl practicing cheerleading moves, and this brings tears to her eyes. Sam then thinks of an idea. She tells Frankie that people need to know what happened that night, and hopefully someone will be able to point them in the right direction. She asks Frankie to post the pictures and videos on the school's social page. Sam adds that will prevent the same from happening to someone else in the future. Getting to school that day, Sam realizes that the blog is already bringing positive reviews. Later on, Dan visits Jody at the station. He asks if the post can be removed because he's afraid that the pictures will live on the internet forever. Jody says the blog cannot be taken down, and moreover, Sam is trying to create awareness for the other young girls too. Up next, Tim catches Christopher and his friends making fun of Sam, and he gets angry. Tim says Christopher is only trying to get himself into more trouble by doing so. Soon afterward, a video of Sam surfaces on the blog. The video shows Sam telling the football team that she's ready to go on with all of them. Seeing this video, Sam gets sad and realizes that she probably gave consent to what happened. She apologizes to Jody for all her troubles. The next day, Jody visits Sam in her bedroom. She asks Sam to take a better look at the video again. She needs to know if Sam can make out the background. Sam then observes the video and realizes that Reed's bag is in the background. She is surprised that Reed's bag is there. Sam finds Reed and challenges him. She asks why he didn't try to stand up for her when everything was happening. Reed says he forgot his bag and only came back to collect it when he saw how thrashed Sam was. Sam scolds him for leaving her at the mercy of Christopher and his friends. Later that night, Reed breaks into Tim's office in search of Lee's phone, but Tim catches him. Reed says Tim shouldn't have sent out the video he found on Lee's phone. Tim argues that he is just trying to protect the team. Tim leaves and informs Reed that the phone is no longer with him. Up next, Sam is getting a snack when one of the waiters start making of her. Sam brings out her phone and takes a picture of the waiter so she can file charges against him. Soon afterward, an eyewitness gives the police a lead, and Jody has Christopher, Jordan, and Lee arrested. Later on, Jody informs Sam and Dan that the only case they can build against Christopher is assault charges. That night, Jody hears a recording playing from the station's reception and decides to investigate. The following morning, Jody checks the CCTV and realizes that Izzy was the one that brought the recording. Jody plays the video recording for Sam and Dan. The recording shows how the boys team up to forcibly make out with Sam because she's drunk and weak. Jody says the video is enough evidence to put Christopher away for a long time. When Sam is done watching the video, she and Jody realize that Dan is no longer with them. Dan is eventually tracked down to Christopher's house. They see him fighting Christopher, but Jody stops him. Christopher is then arrested for his crime. Shortly afterward, Sam is seen working with Jody on bringing similar perpetrators to justice. Jody tells Sam to find a way to make her voice heard by the people. The next scene shows the high school during another high school football game. Moments later, Sam has Frankie transmit the events that happened to her on the school's PA system. Sam walks onto the field, and Dan follows her. Minutes later, the rest of the crowd starts showing their support for Sam's cause. The movie ends as everyone, including the football team and the spectators, stand up in solidarity to show Sam their respect. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to receive future recaps.